Legal Dallas Multipass. Multipass. Congratulations to Andre L for a second time. He guessed the movie quote. Will you guess the movie quote that's at the beginning of this review? Hi and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben and this is my review for Netflix's original short series or anthology series called Death Do Us Part. Till Death Do Us Part is based on a speculative short stories of mirror fiction. This science fiction thriller anthology plunges headlong into our deepest desires and darkest fears. And it also has a theme of cats and death. Death can either bring people together or draw them apart, and there are 7 episodes, all around 25 minutes long, and each has their own story to tell. There's no kind of continuing storyline, but some do have similar themes. It's definitely science fiction. You will have to read subtitles unless you can understand Mandarin, but let's dive into the review. So I wasn't sure what to expect when I watched this. I knew I could probably get through it pretty quickly because it's only 7 episodes and they're only 25 minutes long. Do you remember Love, Death and Robots? Until Death Do Us Part reminds me of that. There are some episodes here that are fantastic and way ahead of the others, and Love, Death and Robots reminded me of that. There's not a weak link to say, because Love, Death and Robots, each animation was fantastic, and here you get each story is fantastic, but there are definitely stories that are stronger. One of the stories, called Perfectly Spotless, warned that her all-white space must be kept immaculate. A woman wages a seemingly impossible war against an increasingly unimaginable spot. This one was particularly unique against the others for me anyway. I thought it had a lot to say, but in cinematography there were shots that represented what they were trying to tell you. That was always messing with your mind. A lot of the episodes do that. There are things and themes and stories that they're trying to tell you about death, about relationships. There are ones that make you uncomfortable and upset. There was a particular episode where a wife was sleeping around and really messing with her husband, and it was annoying to watch in the way that how can a guy let a woman like that just walk all over him, and it was uncomfortable to watch, but it was filmed in a way that was meant to be uncomfortable to watch. And then there are episodes that are immaculately filmed and acted, and some that are not quite immaculately filmed and acted, but each have this story about death and what death represents. There are also cats, as I mentioned. There's a theme that goes, it's like a tenuous theme at best, but one's called Pets and the others have cats in it, and so you kind of can draw it all together if you want to watch all episodes back to back. I think you probably want to digest each episode by themselves. There's a lot going on within each episode. It is science fiction, but it takes a seat back. It's more about the relationships that are formed or that is happening to these characters within a science fiction world. The very first episode is very Groundhog's Day like. We've had similar stories like this, but what they do with it, where they take it, I wasn't expecting it. So the first half you can kind of guess what's happening, and then the second half you're like, whoa, what is going on? The stories are very immersive. The cinematography looks great. The acting is okay most of the times. Like I said, some stand out. The score, I think, also is good, but the only thing for me, unfortunately, that lets these down is the subtitles, because they have this audio description subtitles on every one. You can't unclick them. I think there's something wrong in the Netflix subtitle section. So you go to the original language, you go to 5.1 sound, and it's always there. So you get description like Geralt would say, winds howling.
Winds howling.
And that can be a little bit intrusive into what you're watching, because when it grips you, when each of the stories grips you, that it kind of immerses you into the world, which is what I really want from a short film. But then you have this weird description that takes you out of, and that's, I think, unfortunate, because I want it to be totally immersed, and sometimes you are and you forget your surroundings, and I think that's exactly what a short film should do, and that's basically what these 7 episodes are. They're individual short stories. It's an anthology, obviously, that kind of want to say something to you, and I think for the most part they do that, but there are a couple of episodes where at the end it might leave you going, what just happened? Who is that person now? What's happening? I don't think the story or the story or the theme came across the way they wanted it to exactly. But there are some that I think were just fantastic. Particularly that second episode, Spotless, was just great. I felt like I was watching art, and then again also felt uneasy because of what happened at the end. And don't be surprised if the good guys don't always win. There isn't a clear-cut theme of good guys versus bad guys. This is intellectual storytelling, sometimes interesting, kind of trying to get you to think and see things from different perspectives. Even the filming techniques are weird and will reference other shots within an episode, so that it would remind you of a particular shot at the beginning of an episode and reference that towards the end. Spiral staircases, black spots on the wall, and they mimic each other. There is a reflection, kind of looking back at yourself, reflecting back at society. That it talks about so many things within these episodes, and it was really interesting and fun to watch in certain episodes. I think there'll be an episode when you're watching it that'll be your favorite, and others that just won't be. But I do think you should watch it, because it does kind of expand our minds of how cinema and stories are told, not within like America or the UK. When you're watching things that are not within your own culture, you can see things differently, and I really like that. It kind of expands your mind, as Neil would say. Expand your mind, free your mind.
Free your mind.
I enjoyed it. I think it's good. I don't think it was brilliant. If I were to rate each individual episode, I would give them individual scores. But as a whole, I think it's solid. So I'm going to give it a B. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this. Are you going to check it out? Have you even heard about it? Recently dropped. And look out for more interesting reviews that we've got coming. We've got a lot planned. Most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.